So there's a lot of uncertainty happening in the region right now. How is the region seeing what is happening in the United States?
I think there's bewilderment, there's a wait and see attitude. And also, first of all, I've always said this, which is the region. I don't like talking about the region, right? I know what you mean by the region,
Sure.
but the interests are so different, right? The economic and political interests of Mexico are completely different, and concerns are completely different from Brazil, which are completely different from Ecuador, completely different from Chile. So it depends really on where you are. But for the most part, clearly Mexico has done a fairly good job of adjusting up to now. And then you see, I was talking about this. We have elections coming up in Chile, and the leading candidate is a right wing candidate who kind of has in many ways modeled himself. Maybe not so much after Trump, but certainly Milei, Bolsonaro, right? The regional references. Well, today, Bolsonaro's under house arrest. Milei has his own problems, and so another answer to your question is, this wait and see issue, because where is this really the future of politics? We don't know, not just in the United States, but around the world. It looks as if, this kind of, I don't like calling it, I call them sort of nationalist populist government. So as right wing can mean anything. Nationalist populist governments seem to be in the ascendancy, and liberal democracy seems to be on the defensive. But who knows what will happen in Israel? Who knows what will happen? So I think there's an attitude. There's still a bit of wait and see, and certainly for countries that, as I said, rely on a healthy international system, there's worry, because there's nothing really to replace that for us, right? Small economies like even Peru, Chile, Ecuador, even Argentina rely on exports, to some degree on imports, rely on international capital, rely on access to markets, and also, by the way, rely on a stable world, right? But having said that, I think there's one aspect where Latin American leaders do look at Trump with some interest, which is this: it's doing something. I think you can agree or disagree with things that Trump does, but for many years, voters have felt, and I think this explains a little bit his success. Voters have felt that politicians don't do anything, because politicians for many years have said the big issues, the big problems don't have no solution, right? Climate change, pandemics, adjusting to technological change, whatever, the big issues we just have no. And suddenly someone comes along that either says, that's not a problem, so forget about it, or here's my solution. And it can be, I'm going to try this.